Hello and welcome to Current News. My name is Neel. In this special segment, we will discuss news which is important from the perspective of your exam. The bulletin of the last whole week which might echo in your question paper in the examination hall. First, the headlines. Supreme Court dismisses backward classes report on reservation in Maharashtra. It recommended 27% OBC quota in local elections. Maharashtra local body elections to be held without OBC quota now. Russia seizes Europe's largest nuclear power plant. Ukraine faces threat of a nuclear disaster. The plant meets 40% of Ukraine's total energy needs. India, Nepal, Bangladesh agree to go ahead with the motor vehicle agreement. The three countries go ahead with the agreement despite Bhutan's abstention. All three countries discuss about fully implementing the agreement. International Summit on Recycling of Plastics organized. The summit focused on plastic recycling methods. It is likely to accelerate Make in India and Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. And CHACE-2 detects Argon-40 distribution in the lunar exosphere. Apollo 17 had achieved this feat earlier. Lunar Atmosphere and Dust Environmental Explorer caught similar success in the past. Now let's begin with the news of the week. Supreme Court has dismissed an interim report of the State Backward Classes Commission of Maharashtra recently. The interim report recommended restoring 27% quota for the OBC category in the Maharashtra local body elections. The apex body has also directed the Maharashtra government and the State Election Commission not to take any action on the interim report. Besides, the court has also directed the State Election Commission to issue notifications of the local body elections without implementing the 27% OBC quota. The court is of the view that the State Backward Classes Commission's report is irrational and it has been prepared without any investigation and research. In addition, it bypasses the criteria already set by the court, and as per the criteria, it is mandatory to complete the triple test for OBCs before reserving OBC seats in local bodies. The apex court had stayed the local body elections in Maharashtra in 2021 as 27% seats in these elections were reserved for the OBC category. Besides, the state government had not followed the mandatory triple test before deciding to fix this quota. Later, the court also directed to hand over the data available with the state government to Maharashtra Backward Classes Commission. The commission had prepared its interim report on the basis of this data, and the interim report has now been rejected by the court. The mandatory triple test was adopted by the court in its previous decisions, in which three criteria were fixed for reserving seats for OBCs in local bodies. The first criteria is the creation of commission to investigate backwardness in local bodies within the state. The second criteria is to determine the proportion of reservation required in local bodies as per the Commission's recommendation. The third and the final criteria is that the limit of reservation in any case shall not exceed 50% of the total number of seats reserved for SCs, STs and OBCs. The State Election Commission has been entrusted with the task of conducting free and fair elections to the local bodies in the state. The State Election Commission is responsible for conducting all elections to panchayats under Article 243(k)(1) and municipalities under Article 243(za) of the Constitution of India. The issue of granting equal guardianship status to both the parents of a child has been going on for a long time in India. Till now, the father's name as a guardian had been preferred over mother's name in some important documents. Hence, various discussions, recommendations and suggestions have always been provided from time to time on this issue. A PIL was also filed in the Madras High Court in this regard in September 2021. The petition demanded including the mother's name along with the father's name in all the necessary documents. However, some changes have been carried out in the passport and PAN card rules in this regard in the last few years. By doing so, an attempt has been made to grant equal status to both the parents as the child's guardian. Ministry of External Affairs had made some amendments in its rules for issuing passports in 2016. After the amendments, the applicant can provide the name of either of the parents instead of giving the details of both the father and the mother. Similarly, the Income Tax Rules 1962 were also amended in 2018 so that the father's name is not mandatory in case the mother is a single parent. Besides, the mother's name along with the father's name is also required in the new PAN application form these days. But when it comes to school certificates and other such documents, the issue of granting equal status to the parents as the child's guardian appears insignificant. The Hindu Minority and Guardianship Act 1956 also gives preference to the father as the guardian. The law treats father as the natural guardian of a Hindu minor, but custody is normally with the mother till the minor attains the age of 5 years. Similarly, the father is considered as the natural guardian of the child in Muslim personal law or Sharia law, but the custody of the son till age of 7 years and daughter till the age of maturity is with the mother. However, the Hindu Minority and Guardianship Act was challenged in the Supreme Court in the Geeta Hariharan vs Reserve Bank of India case 1999. But the apex court's decision failed to recognize both the parents as equal guardians. The Law Commission of India had also recommended in one of its reports to recognize both the parents as natural guardians. NHRC, that is National Human Rights Commission, has recently issued a notice to the state government regarding groundwater pollution in Bihar. The commission has issued this notice after taking suo motu cognizance of a media report. The media report is related to recent economic survey 2021-22 of Bihar, which states that groundwater of about 31 districts in Bihar is contaminated with arsenic, fluoride and excessive iron. Its presence in groundwater can cause serious health hazards to the residents of Bihar, and they may face liver and kidney related health problems. As per the media reports, the groundwater of about 30,000 rural wards of Bihar is chemically contaminated. In these wards, rural wards of 14 districts situated on the banks of Ganga are affected by arsenic pollution, and rural wards of 11 districts are affected by fluoride pollution. Besides, the presence of excessive iron in groundwater of about 9 districts of Kosi Basin has been recorded. National Human Rights Commission has considered the findings of this report as a serious violation of human rights, and the state government has been given 6 weeks to submit its report in this regard. The state government will have to provide information about the measures taken to provide potable water in these districts and the implementation of Har-Ghar-Jal-Nal-Yojana in this report. In addition, the Commission also has sought a report from the State Pollution Control Board on random sampling of groundwater. Arsenic is a highly toxic chemical. Its presence in potable water and water used for cooking foods can cause cancer, skin diseases, heart diseases, and diabetes. The consumption of excessively fluoridated water can lead to dental fluorosis and crippling skeleton fluorosis. As per the WHO guidelines, the maximum limit of arsenic in potable water is 0.01 mg per liter, and maximum limit of fluoride in potable water is 1.5 mg per liter. Government of India has recently approved an amendment proposal related to Mines and Minerals Development and Regulation Act. Some changes will be carried out in the Act's second schedule through this amendment. It is aimed at fixing the royalty rates for certain minerals such as glauconite, potash, emerald, platinum group of metals, andalusite, sillimanite, and molybdenum. The approval will ensure the auction of block of all these minerals. As its result, the local production of minerals will also increase, and it will reduce the import of these minerals from other countries. Due to the reduction in the import of these minerals, not only India's foreign exchange reserves will increase, but also the foreign dependence of these minerals will reduce. Besides, it will strengthen India's mining sector as well as the manufacturing sector, which will aid in ensuring inclusive growth of a large section of the society. Ministry of Mines has proposed reasonable royalty rates for increasing the participation in the auction of mines. These royalty rates have been fixed in consultation with various ministries of state and central governments. Now, the Ministry of Mines will also provide a method for calculating the average selling price of these minerals. It is believed that fixing the average selling price and royalty of these minerals will increase the number of blocks up for auction. The Minerals and Mines Regulation and Development Act was passed in 1957 for regulating India's mining sector. The Act applies to all minerals except atomic minerals and secondary minerals. The Act also provides details of procedure and conditions for obtaining a mining license in India. The Russian forces have seized the largest nuclear power reactor in Ukraine and Europe during the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. After the Russian attack on the reactor, it was being feared that a possible nuclear disaster may occur and radiation may spread. However, the fire in the reactor complex building was brought under control shortly after the attack, and no damage was done to reactor power units as they were located at a distance from the building. The name of this reactor, located in Har-Ghar, Ukraine, is Zaporizhzhia Nuclear Power Reactor, and it is situated on the banks of Dnieper River. It contributes about 40% of the total electricity produced by all nuclear power reactors in Ukraine. In addition, the reactor is one of the largest energy producers in the European continent, and it meets about 25% of the region's energy needs. This nuclear power reactor consists of 6 pressurized water reactor units, and each pressurized water reactor unit has a total electrical capacity of 1000 megawatts. Pressurized water reactor is a type of light water reactor in which ordinary water is used as a moderator and coolant. Since in this reactor the coolant, that is the ordinary water, is pumped into reactor core at high pressure, hence it is known as pressurized water reactor. The pressurized water reactor plant is most common type of nuclear power reactor in the world, and it uses low enriched uranium as fuel. An attack on countries' nuclear power plants is a violation of international humanitarian law, specifically the Geneva Convention and Protocol First. Protocol First or Protocol 1 deals with the protection of works and installations containing dangerous forces. It prohibits attacks on places prone to serious disasters such as dams, nuclear power generating stations, etc. More than 1.5 million people have been displaced from Ukraine due to ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees has considered the displacement of people from Ukraine as the fastest growing refugee displacement since World War II. The European Union members have decided to activate the European Union Council Directive or Temporary Protection Directive 2001 in view of the ongoing crisis. It would set up a temporary protection mechanism for people displaced from Ukraine. The provision of temporary protection to displaced people is an exceptional measure under the Temporary Protection Directive. It is aimed at providing immediate and temporary protection to the people displaced from non-European Union countries who are unable to return to their country of origin due to the conflict. In addition, the Temporary Protection Directive is activated only when the refugee crisis arises due to the displacement of large number of people. The Temporary Protection Directive was introduced as a result of the Soviet Union's disintegration. The disintegration led to large-scale armed conflicts and ethnic conflicts in Europe in the 1990s. The large numbers of people were displaced due to these conflicts. For this reason, the European Union established special procedures under the Temporary Protection Directive to deal with this large-scale displacement. Under this directive, EU member states have to provide some temporary protections to displaced people. These protections include granting residence permits to displaced people during the protection period, providing housing facilities, providing medical treatment, promoting access to employment, etc. Besides, the Temporary Protection Directive also contains provisions for the return of displaced people to their country of origin. Despite Bhutan's abstention from the Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Nepal or BBIN Group Motor Vehicle Agreement, the other 3 countries held a meeting to move ahead on the agreement. The meeting was aimed at discussing the steps to be taken for implementing the agreement in the 3 countries. It was the first in-person meeting of the BBIN group countries for discussing the motor vehicle agreement since February 2020. 2 separate protocols on passenger and cargo movements were finalized, along with the MOU to provide support for promoting trade and people-to-people connectivity between the BBIN group countries in this meeting held recently. MOU was signed by India, Bangladesh and Nepal for implementing the BBIN motor vehicle agreement during this meeting, but the agreement is yet to be endorsed by Bhutan. Bhutan's parliament has decided not to sign the agreement due to sustainability and environmental concerns. Bhutan states that its top priority is to remain a carbon negative country. Hence, Bhutan cannot participate in this motor vehicle agreement. However, India expects that Bhutan will change its stand on the project. Progress on this 7-year-old project has remained slow despite several trial runs of passenger buses and cargo trucks on Bangladesh-India-Nepal road route. Besides, agreements are still to be reached upon some issues like insurance, bank guarantee, size of cargo vehicles and frequency of movement of passenger buses and cargo trucks, etc. Bangladesh, Bhutan, India and Nepal had jointly signed the motor vehicle agreement in 2015. Under this agreement, these 4 countries had given green signal to the free movement of their trucks and commercial vehicles on each other's highways for promoting trade. The agreement's main aim is to increase economic connectivity between these countries by facilitating the cross-border movement of people and goods. Asian Development Bank is providing financial and technical assistance to this project. Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises organized an international summit on plastic recycling and waste management recently. The summit was held in New Delhi in association with All India Plastic Manufacturers Association. In the summit, discussions were carried out on ways of identifying waste, learning about its recycling process and adopting the right methods of recycling, etc. Besides the challenges, possible solutions and opportunities related to plastic waste were also discussed during the summit. It is being believed that summit will act as an effective platform in creating new employment opportunities in plastics industry and recycling sector. It will also play a pivotal role in the success of Government of India's initiatives like Make in India and Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. Ministry of MSME has also launched two initiatives, Sambhav and Swalamban, on this occasion, which aims at promoting entrepreneurship among India's youth. Sambhav is a national level awareness program which is being organized by the Ministry of MSME in webinar mode in about 1300 colleges across India. Street plays are organized in 46 aspirational districts under the Swalamban initiative with the aim of promoting entrepreneurship among the youth and promoting awareness about ministry's schemes. Plastic Waste Management Rules 2016 were introduced for curbing the production of plastic waste and preventing the spread of plastic waste in India. In these rules, some responsibilities were fixed for local bodies, waste producers, retailers, etc. for managing plastic waste. The government has also recently issued Plastic Waste Management Amendment Rules 2022 for curbing single-use plastic. These new rules include strict adherence to EPR or Extended Producer Responsibility and placing plastics into 4 categories. CHACE-2, that is Chandra's Atmospheric Composition Explorer 2, a payload of Chandrayaan-2 orbiter, has detected the distribution of argon-40 in the lunar atmosphere. Besides, the observation made by it has gathered information about the dynamics of the lunar exospheric elements. In addition, it has also detected radiogenic activities occurring a few meters below the lunar surface. However, missions such as Apollo 17 and LADEE, that is Lunar Atmosphere and Dust Environmental Explorer, had also detected the presence of argon-40 in the lunar exosphere. But the observations made by these missions were limited to near equatorial lunar regions. CHACE-2 has detected diurnal and spatial variation of argon-40 in both the equatorial and mid-latitude lunar regions. Argon-40 is an isotype of the noble or inert gas argon. Noble gases serve as an important tracer for comprehending the processes of surface exospheric interactions. For this reason, argon-40 is an important tracer atom for studying the dynamics of the lunar exosphere. Argon-40 is produced from the radioactive disintegration of potassium-40 present beneath the lunar surface, and once it is formed, it diffuses in the lunar exosphere. CHACE-2 is a quadrupole mass spectrometer installed in the orbiter of ISRO's Chandrayaan-2 mission, and it is a sequel to the CHACE experiment conducted on the Moon Impact Probe of Chandrayaan-1 mission. This spectrometer is capable of scanning the lunar exosphere, and its primary purpose is to study the composition, distribution, and variability of the lunar exosphere. These days, Taj Mahal, a monument of national importance and a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is in news. An attempt to create a narrative related to Taj Mahal was made when the Prime Minister inaugurated Kashi Vishwanath Dham in 2021. During this event, Prime Minister showered flowers on sanitation workers working in Kashi Vishwanath Temple and expressed his gratitude towards them for keeping the temple premises neat and clean. But after this event, many news channels started criticizing the Mughals, and discussions were carried out that the Prime Minister showered flowers on sanitation workers of the Kashi Vishwanath Temple, while the Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan had the hands of artisans who built the Taj Mahal cut off. A narrative of myth about Taj Mahal is that Shah Jahan had ordered the hands of artisans who built the Taj Mahal to be cut off so that no other monument like Taj Mahal could be built again. It is worth noting that it is just a well-known urban myth. No historical evidence exists to prove that such an order was issued by Shah Jahan. Taj Mahal was built by Shah Jahan in the memory of his beloved wife Mumtaz Mahal. UNESCO has recognized it as a feat of Indo-Islamic architecture. UNESCO considers that many historical inscriptions in Arabic script provide information about Taj Mahal's construction. These inscriptions suggest that masons, architects, artisans, and laborers were brought for Taj Mahal's construction from the entire Mughal Empire as well as from the Central Asia and Iran. These people were also given ample regards by Mughal emperor for their special works. Information about salary of masons like Ata Muhammad, Shakir Muhammad, Multan Muhammad, Sajjad is also found in the Mughal account books and inscriptions. Besides, Amanat Khan, who was originally a calligrapher of Iran, was entrusted with the task of designing the Taj Mahal's calligraphy. Shah Jahan also granted mansab to Amanat Khan after getting impressed by his works. Various historical sources also revealed that Shah Jahan held several meetings with architects and supervisors during the Taj Mahal's construction, and he honored as well as rewarded the artisans and workers for their efforts and hard work. Thus, the historical records related to Shah Jahan suggest that it is just a rumor that Shah Jahan had the hands of artisans who built the Taj Mahal cut off. Now let us have a look at the 5 questions based on today's bulletin.
The 5 questions based on this bulletin are as follows. Question 1. Consider the following statements. 1. Chandrayaan-2 payload Chandra's Atmospheric Composition Explorer 2 has detected argon-40 distribution in the Earth's exosphere. 2. Argon-40 is an isobar of argon, a noble or inert gas. Which of the above statements is or are correct? A. 1 only, B. 2 only, C. both 1 and 2, or D. neither 1 nor 2. Next question. Consider the following statements. Statement 1. Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Nepal or BBIN Motor Vehicle Agreement was introduced in 2014. Statement 2. Asian Development Bank is providing technical and financial assistance to the project. Which of the above statements is or are not correct? And the options are A. 1 only, B. 2 only, C. both 1 and 2, or D. neither 1 nor 2. Next question. Consider the following statements. 1. Central Election Commission has been entrusted with the task of conducting free and fair elections to the local bodies. 2. Article 243K1 of the Constitution of India provides for the election to panchayats. You have to select the correct statement with the help of the given options, and options are A. 1 only, B. 2 only, C. both 1 and 2, or D. neither 1 nor 2. Next question. Consider the following statements. 1. Normal water is used as moderator and coolant in the pressurized water reactor. 2. Natural uranium is used as fuel in this reactor. Which of the above statements is or are correct? Options are A. 1 only, B. 2 only, C. both 1 and 2, or D. neither 1 nor 2. The 5th and the last question is, consider the following statements. Statement 1. The Mines and Minerals Regulation and Development Act was introduced in 1957 for regulating India's mining sector. 2. The Act applies to all minerals except atomic minerals and secondary minerals. Which of the above statements is or are not correct? And the options are A. 1 only, B. 2 only, C. both 1 and 2, or D. neither 1 nor 2.
So for the time being, that's all in this bulletin. Do not forget to like, share and subscribe Drishti IAS Hindi, English and PCS YouTube channels. At the end, let us have a look at few more events of the last week in other news.
Ministry of Health and Family Welfare had organized a workshop Chintan Shivir Heal in India at the National Institute of Biologics, Noida recently. Its main objective was to discuss the prospects of introducing a policy which can promote medical tourism in India. During the workshop, in-depth discussions were carried out on medical tourism in India, Indian traditional medicines and wellness systems, potential of health insurance and digital health, etc. Ministry of Education has released the report on Unified District Information System for Education Plus, that is UDISE Plus 2020-21 on school education in India. UDSIE Plus is a system of online data collection from the schools, and it was developed by the Department of School Education and Literacy in the year 2018-19. The present report highlights the student-teacher ratio, that is STR, in schools, increasing enrollment, number of non-teaching staff and improvements in school infrastructure for the year 2020-21. The report also refers to the COVID-19 pandemic's impact on enrollment in schools. Government of India has recently approved extending the Swatantrata Sainik Samman Yojana from the financial year 2021-22 to 2025 to 26. A budget of about 3,200 crore rupees has been allotted for the scheme. The scheme provides monthly pension to Indian freedom fighters for their contribution in the national freedom movement, and on their demise, their eligible dependents are also granted pension as per the prescribed norms and procedure. It is implemented by the Freedom Fighters Division of the Ministry of Home Affairs. Odisha has become the only state in India to achieve 90.5% immunization apart from successful immunization against COVID-19 infection under Intensified Mission Indradhanush, that is IMI 4.0. Intensified Mission Indradhanush 4.0 is being conducted in 3 rounds in 416 districts of 33 states and union territories of India. The mission has been launched for promoting full immunization coverage of targeted women and children as a step towards preventive health care for mothers and children. Mission Indradhanush was launched on 25 December 2014 by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India. Ministry of Labour and Employment has recently launched the Donate a Pension scheme. The scheme allows any citizen to pay premium amount on behalf of an unorganized labourer under the Pradhan Mantri Shram Yogi Man Dhan Yojana. Under the scheme, any citizen can pay the premium of Pradhan Mantri Shram Yogi Man Dhan Yojana on behalf of his domestic workers, drivers, assistants, caregivers, nurses, etc. Pradhan Mantri Shram Yogi Man Dhan Yojana was launched in 2019 for old age security and social security of unorganized labourers. Union Minister Shri Narayan Rane launched the MSME Innovative Scheme along with MSME Idea Hackathon 2022. These initiatives will support entrepreneurs in developing new ventures. The scheme is a new concept for the MSME sector and it consists of 3 sub-schemes, namely Incubation, Design and IPR. The Incubation sub-scheme aims at promoting creativity and adoption of the latest technologies in the MSME sector.